This is Take a Cue, Season 4, Episode 4. 1, 2, 3, 4!
Hey, music educators. Welcome to Take a Cue, the podcast that helps you hit the right notes in your band room one rehearsal at a time. I'm Jen Wise, professional baton dropper and occasional miracle worker.
And I'm Erik Dunno, and I used to have hair when I started this job. Between the two of us, we've got over 40 years of experience teaching band in New Jersey public schools, and trust us, we've seen it all. Missing mallets, unexpected key changes, and that one clarinet squeak that always arrives at the concert right on cue.
Whether you're brand new or a seasoned pro, Take a Cue is here to spark ideas, share strategies, and remind you why band directing is one of the best gigs around.
From classroom hacks to performance tips, we've got practical advice, real stories, and just enough humor to get you through your next rehearsal.
If you're enjoying the show, please give us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcast app. It helps more educators find us.
And stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Take a Cue Podcast. We'd love to hear your stories, swap ideas, and celebrate the wins, big or small.
So grab your baton, tune up those instruments, and get ready to bring out the best in your students and yourself.
This is Take a Cue. Jen, after a month of trying to get together, we finally have been able to do it at the end of our break.
At the end of our break. It is New Year's Eve. We are approaching 2026 somehow.
Yes.
And here we are.
We finally made it.
We finally made it.
We finally made it.
New Year's always feels like some kind of finish line, even though for us things are really just about to, do this. So in the next
How did we
weeks.
used to do 2 episodes per month when we started doing this podcast?
No idea. I don't know. Earlier bedtimes for our kids, maybe. No, actually, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, Kate was a baby, so that might have helped.
TJ's bedtime was probably an hour earlier, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't have
life.
Life. I mean,
life was so simple then.
Oh, sure. So simple. But that's what we're here to talk about, work-life balance, somewhat. Or at least, maybe you could learn from our experience.
Yeah. Learn from us what not to do.
What not? Well, yeah. I mean, that's there is some sage advice in there. So, we'll get to all that. But like we said, we're in the middle of our winter break, our holiday break. And how's yours been so far?
Well, up until yesterday, it was pretty much a whirlwind. We are involved in our local church. And so we've got rehearsals and services, and Maggie's involved and Kate's involved and I'm involved. So it's a lot of rehearsing and a lot of, and a lot of services. So there's that. Even afterward, making sure that we get time with all the families is really important to us. So luckily they all live within about 25 minutes, but it does take some time to see everybody. And we've got my sister and her kids, and this year Cindy's sister and her brother-in-law and the kids came from California. So we spent some good time with them.
Cool.
My folks, Cindy's folks, it was a lot. We made it into New York for the Radio City Christmas Spectacular after Christmas this year.
That's cool.
Yes.
I've never been. I've never seen it. So.
Oh, really? Oh, it's so much fun. Jen, you have to take TJ. He's like the perfect age for it next year.
Yeah.
Take him.
Okay. Next year. We'll put it on the list for next year.
Yeah. It's totally worth it's totally worth just getting through all those crowds and, the cold and all that to do it, especially when they're that young.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
But we're happy to get back. And then yesterday it was finally a day to slow down.
Good.
And I got my flu and COVID shots yesterday. So now I can't move my non-conducting arm.
You're kind of like, yeah, ow.
I always get it in my left so I can still wave the baton.
Oh, that's good. With the right. Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But otherwise, yesterday was a little bit of a slowdown. How about you? How's things been up to this point?
Yeah, pretty wild. Pretty just crazy, wild and crazy. A lot of same stuff over break, visiting with family, this and that. But like the chaos for us really started the week before break because along with, I feel like a percentage of children in New Jersey, TJ popped the flu, influenza A. And then I caught it very quickly after. So like by the time he was on his upswing, I was like hitting rock bottom and couldn't go back to work. So I missed pretty much the whole week of school before break. It's so hard when you only see your students once a week. And we're fine, by the way. Like we're recovered. So yeah, well, I've had a lot of rest. And a little boomerang event of the flu coming back at me, which I'll tell you about in a second. But it's just so frustrating when you get sick right before break, or when TJ does, because then it's like you miss that time with them, and then another week. And with the way this break falls, some of my students, it'll be 3 weeks by the time I see them, and we have concerts in January. So this would kind of hurt. So But we're on the mend. We're doing a lot better now. So Good. And Tom never got it. So maybe Lucky he's him. Some kind of carrier. So it's just been one of those like comedy of errors kind of things.
Yes. Like and also trying to get Christmas together the week, being sick the week before. I imagine that was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just like getting presents wrapped and gifts purchased and meals made and this and that, and I was like, okay, we could do this. My brother and his wife are hosting Christmas. They live 15 minutes away. Like at least Christmas Day will be easy. But then we get the call, my sister-in-law, stomach bug, overnight going into Christmas Day. And it's like, okay, I've got steaks in the freezer, game on. We ended up hosting Christmas Day. And that was a
unexpectedly lot. Hosting Christmas Day.
Unexpectedly hosting Christmas Day.
Wow.
And, things happen. It's, it is what it is. But, oh, man, that was pretty crazy. And then my auntie's coming to visit for a couple days after Christmas. They were supposed to stay with my brother. Nope, not going there. So they stayed with us, and that was really fun. But we had a little snowstorm here in New Jersey the day after Christmas, so they got snowed in with us, and it was really fun. But we were not prepared for hosting. We were not prepared for house guests, and that's just made this break like a little wacky. So here we are on New Year's Eve, and I'm totally, it's going to happen. Like I'm manifesting this in my mind that I'm going to go hear Tom play tonight. He's playing a rockin', New Year's Eve at Just Jake's in Montclair with New Power Soul. So excited. TJ's supposed to stay over with Grandma and Grandpa. Not a lot of music for us over break, but except TJ's been practicing piano, and
I love that.
We've been loving that in the house. And my in-laws brought over Tom's finger harp. So he's been learning all the Christmas carols on the harp. And that's been really, really, really kind of fun to watch him experiment with. So that's it for music for us over break. I know you did a lot with your church and everything. And
a lot of singing. Yes. A lot of singing, not a lot of playing, and that's okay.
Yeah.
The instruments have pretty much been in the cases. I mean, I got them out a little bit to play, but just for fun at home, but no performing or anything like that. Speaking of playing, I don't know. I think you might have seen, I put a little video on Facebook and Instagram about how I'm trying to, look into playing corporate events and cocktail hours as a solo performer, something I've never really done before. And so I'd love to pick your brain and Tom's brain at some point, because I know you guys have some experience in that area. But that's something, because I don't have enough going on.
Right. You might as well add another performing opportunity to your plate. But this is cool stuff, because there's a lot of European families like a saxophone and a DJ, and you kind of solo and play the melody over, just whatever the DJ's doing, or if you have your own.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking more background music for me.
Okay. So more like music you'd have at a cocktail party or something like that. Oh, see, that's cool. Yeah. Then, you configure your own tracks in the background and pedals when you need them. And,
I've been working a little bit with Band in a Box. I'd never used it before, but Brendan turned me onto it, and he's been using it for years and years. Yeah. And it's really amazing. I can't believe how good the backing tracks sound, even with just the lowest level of the program.
Yeah, totally. It's you can do a lot with it. So, I used to set up tracks for my students even, and just, send them home with them to practice with on there for, different, especially the drummer, the set drummers for, jazz band and stuff. It would be pretty helpful for them for different styles. And So yeah, that's cool. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
I definitely reach out to Tom, because he's done a few of those, and
I've seen him, walking around the crowd and hanging out up on the balconies with his saxophone and all that.
Yeah. Now that you got your in-ear monitors, the world's your oyster. So
thank you, Santa.
There you go.
Yeah.
Winter concerts.
January 14 here. When are yours?
Okay. January 21st and 22nd.
Oh, you get a little bit more time, but you don't see your kids as much as I do.
I don't. I only see them
you only
once
have like
a week. So
what, like 3 rehearsals left or something?
If that, yeah, because thrown in there we have Martin Luther King Jr. Day and a delayed opening for a staff PD and district chorus day. So those are all like things that are going to fall during my early morning rehearsals. So that's going to take some juggling to get everybody the rehearsal time they need this month. So,
but we are the toughest on ourselves out of anybody. So there's, I'm sure it'll be amazing, but we always, as music teachers, we always are the harshest critics of our own work and our own groups, right?
It's true. I think so. I really do think that. So, there were a few pieces that if we had to put them on before break, even before I got sick, like we would have been good to go. But we've got a couple in the folder that I'm like, we got to polish this. We got to, we need to. So I kind of left everybody with an assignment over break, like whether you do it with Make Music Loud, whether you just do it for yourself in the mirror, or do it for your family while they're visiting. Just do a concert run through for yourself. And if there's something that you're still not getting, make sure you talk to me about it after break. Like let's get some help for you. So that was their big over break assignment. And of course I don't know if everybody's students give them this, but like, I can't take my saxophone to Florida because we're packing there. I'm like, yep. Before you go, when you get back, like let's just make this happen. And then usually if I get, because I get tired of that conversation, because I'm not going anywhere over break.
Yeah, right.
And
I don't want to hear about all the cool places you're going.
Yeah, I'll stop them mid-sentence. I'm like, don't tell me about your fabulous vacation. Just practice your instrument.
Yeah. I always tell my kids, take a pencil. You can literally sit on the plane and practice fingering the notes,
That's right.
It's really, you don't need an instrument to at least do a little work on your music, but we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it just depends on my mood, the answer they get there, so.
So what vacations really help with? Not getting burnout.
Yeah.
Yes.
They do.
It does happen occasionally that we get away.
Right.
And, I think one of the things that we're going to talk about today with work-life balance is avoiding that feeling of burnout.
Yeah, we should.
You ready to get into it?
I think we should. I think we should get into it. I'm ready. So,
right on.
Everybody, there have been times in both of our careers, in our family lives, in everything where we have absolutely no business telling you what to do here. So a lot of
right now is that time.
Like right this minute, both of us are living that. But like we said earlier, we have had some really good experiences to learn from, and we had this conversation with a bunch of pre-service music teachers, a wonderful bunch of pre-service music teachers from the College of New Jersey, from TCNJ, a few years back. And, it was really cool to hear like their questions about going into the field and how to make this happen. And we have lived that part, and we've survived. So, that part we can definitely comment on. So. Yeah.
Yes, it is true. And so we're going to kind of go over some of the topics that we did explore at TCNJ and see how they still hold up here with us a couple years later. And I think there's still a lot of good nuggets here.
Definitely.
Because like Jen said, we are in a profession of all first chair players. I love how you put it. It's not in our nature not to seek perfection, notoriety, or greatness. But I definitely know that can lead to a lot of imbalance in the work life, situation.
Yeah. And so many of us are just like completely happy diving headfirst into being that great, band director, having that trophy, having that top program, having, 1,000 million kids get into, region and all state and this and that. But, does the balance happen then? And that's something that you have to check for yourself, because when it's not there, it hits you like a wall, and you don't want to get to that point, right? You don't want to,
Sure.
You don't want to land there. So,
No, I think that's really important. And it's important to remember, too, that different times of the year have different priorities for music teachers.
Yeah.
In the fall, for a lot of us, the marching band takes a lot of time outside of the school day. And that's only one part of the year, but it can really be, you can be pulling 12, 13, 14, 15-hour days.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. It's a lot. And, for me now that I've been at a marching band for a few years, helping the whole household get back into the routine of being at school. And now that TJ's school age, and, that's a big one for me in the fall, is getting the whole family back into that rhythm of the school year that includes, before school rehearsals and piano lessons and this and that. And, So
absolutely. No, that's a really good way to put it too, because, in our household, we've got Maggie's a bit older, and she's almost 13, and, Kate is about to be 7. And it is true. That time of the year is a really important year to make sure that everybody's kind of pulling their weight and is helping out around the house and making sure people are where they need to be. That's really important.
Yeah. And if you're and the marching band thing, you might be just less a part of that, but just keeping your finger on the pulse of what's going on at home, and staying connected to that is super important. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Somebody I know, in our district that seems to do this pretty well is Jim.
Oh, yeah.
His kids have been so busy with so many activities over the years, yet I feel like he and Heather really make it work really well. It's not all Heather doing all of the driving. It's not, Jim doing all of the work. I feel like it really is split up. Now I'm talking about them. They're not here to agree or disagree.
Yeah. Neither of them get a say in this conversation, but even in the last couple of years, they've made it work where he's assistant band director and she teaches the color guard.
Yeah.
And, that's been kind of sort of working for them now that the kids are a little bit older. So
you really can make the time for the extracurricular and the family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It takes a lot of coordination and a lot of planning, no question, but
yeah.
And then you and I kind of had the opposite experience where we've kind of taken a step back or two steps back from the whole marching band extracurricular thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I may have mentioned this on here, but one of our esteemed colleagues, she's now retired, said to me, while she had TJ in her arms, it was one of the first, during COVID get-togethers, we went to her backyard, just to connect and say, we're so excited. Here's our baby boy. Isn't he the best? And a conversation we had that day, she said, you have a choice. She's like, I pushed a stroller up the 50-yard line for 10 years. She's like,
I know who you're talking about. Yes.
And she's like, you could do that. You could, and I'm here and I loved it. And, and here's my kids and they're wonderful musicians. And that's the life we live. Or you could do it a different way. She's like, you just gotta make your choices and be happy with them. I'm like,
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that one kind of stuck with me. So,
yeah. And then we come into the winter where a lot of us have, more time with family, even if we're doing a lot of extracurricular activities. Spring, you've got concerts, festivals, musicals, things like that. I feel like for a lot of teachers, winter you got concerts, of course.
Yep.
But there may be less extracurricular time pulling on you. So,
Yep.
I don't know. Do you feel that way?
In the winter,
have you felt that way?
Yeah, a little bit, and Tom's playing a little less, except for some holiday polka gigs, like German Christmas market thing,
Yeah.
and New Year's Eve. So there is a little more time to just be home and be together and do that. So, and that's kind of nice. Once it bleeds into musical season, all bets are off. But, yeah.
But you're also listening to a middle school director and an elementary school director.
Right.
We maybe don't have a lot of the run out concerts and little performances that some of our high school colleagues might, or our colleagues in smaller districts where they do a lot of different grades.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, totally. So, it might be harder for some people to find that time then, but,
Yeah.
do you ever wish that like we could take time off when school's like in session?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sidebar. I know, because it's tough. Like you want to travel, you want to do things, you want to take that time, but it's just you can't extend your break. You can't go and see anybody overseas, or it's just like it's just hard to find that time when there's school happening around you. So
we are fortunate that we do get a significant amount of downtime, especially in the summer. But a lot of teachers end up working other jobs in the summer. Oh, I got a siren going by. Mew, mew. So summer, sometimes teachers end up doing other jobs. I know for me, until about a summer or two ago, I would always be doing something in the summer.
Yeah.
Whether it was painting or driving for Uber Eats or doing summer music stuff. There was always something going on. But now it's, for me now, I'm at the point in my career, which is 23 years in, where I really value that summertime now, and I'm able to not work if I don't want to. In the summer, and that time for family is really great. And we're very lucky that we have that time.
Yeah.
But it took 23 years to get here.
Well, that's the thing is my, I did a summer camp for a while, 7 or 8 years. And then, like different marching bands and working, color guard stuff. And, that takes up a lot of summertime. But now kind of similarly, I work at the bar in the summer, picking up a few extra hours, but most of the time is family time. And if I say, hey, I'm out of town this week, it's not a big deal. So yeah.
I guess for our listeners, maybe that might be younger or starting out in their careers. I guess the message here is it does get better if you're feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It can, it can be a better balanced situation, but sometimes it just takes that time in the career to be able to do it.
Yeah. Then we start to get into like the balance of things, right?
Yes.
Like, so we're talking about our seasonal ebb and flow of the year, but that does take a little bit of time to figure out what that is for you, and how hard you do need to work in the fall so that the winter is not as stressful for your program. Like that's a big deal for me, is setting up those systems right off the bat and having, that intense time with my groups in September, October, November, so that it's in, this time of year, we're just we have a routine set. There's no question. Should I show up to rehearsal? You show up to rehearsal, and we've established that. Now, does that take away from my family time or my hobby time? No, but it just that prioritizing those systems in the fall is a big one for me.
Sure. No, I think that's really important. Just setting up the year after you've done it a few years, where you know what to expect and you know how you want it to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And also part of it, I think that a lot of music teachers and musicians get into is the music performance, the writing, the recording, the studying, all of that part of work, or is it part of life? Is it a bit of both?
Yeah.
Because it does, the lines blur so much between, music for yourself and music for your job.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know this, Erik, but I've heard that you're allowed to have hobbies that aren't productive.
Oh, yeah, but who does that?
I don't know, but it sounds like a lot of fun. And if that's you, don't feel bad about it, because that's awesome.
Yes.
It's your hobby. It's your thing. It's what takes you away from this. And, like, you are allowed to go home and unplug and not
Yes.
be a band director constantly. So
It's true. It's totally true. And I know you are really good at finding those things. I know you love to bike ride.
I mean, not since it got cold, but like I did, train for a big ride last spring. I did the MS ride down city to shore, that one. So
Yeah.
it's is one of those things. Like, I convinced myself that it was, productive and keeping me healthy and this or that and this, but it's not like musically productive. It doesn't do anything.
You're not making money off of it.
No, definitely
It's something
not.
for you.
That's something for me, totally. And what my time at the bar is good. It's a little extra cash, but it's also like adult conversation and a few hours for mommy out of the house, and
Yeah.
it's just that's some time that like is just not like, I'm not a good bartender, Eric. Like, I'm not good. Some regulars found their daughter's old clarinet in their closet. And I said, could you use this? Could one of your students use this? This happens to you all the time. Like, I'm sure people just like hand you instruments and they're like, dude, I know this all sounds unbelievable, but people do just hand you instruments because they assume you're going to use them. And I usually do. I usually have somebody to pass it on to. Right. So we're there, it's just 3 or 4 people sitting at the bar. And I open it up and there's like a couple old moldy reeds in there. I'm like, oh, I'm getting a little skeptical. I look it over and I'm looking at the pads. I'm like, guys, this thing's going to play. Like, I know it's been sitting around 25 years, but it's going to play. So I put it together. I had a reed in my purse. I pop it on and they're like just looking at me like I don't know. And I'm like, what?
You're magic.
Yeah. And they're like, now we see. They're like, you're so awkward behind the bar, but like, you could assemble a clarinet like that. And just,
I was thinking about more of the social aspect of it, but fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, no, I got that down. But I guess they were laughing because they're just like, man, we just watched you assemble a clarinet. But anyway, so your hobbies don't have to be productive, and you don't have to be particularly good at them. They just have to be fulfilling for you. So.
Yeah, no, I enjoy, trying. I try to read more. Mm-hmm. I've never been a big reader because I read very slowly.
Okay.
But I do kind of try to get myself reading and find some books that I like that are not always about like learning something.
Yeah.
Just reading a fiction book.
Yeah.
So finding those things is really important. I agree with you 100%, Jen.
Yeah. The question lingering out there is like, should it be, what's the priority? Should it be work? Should it be family? Should it be yourself? Should it be the music? Like, and I don't know. For me, I think it's just, like we were saying, it's seasonal. It's like, you have to keep an eye on it. So.
An hour by hour, even in the day, having the separation between what you're doing at school and then you're coming home and you're working, you're doing things with your family. You're coming home, and if you're just, living alone, you're taking time for you to read or to bike ride or to go for walks or, go work out, things like that. But having that delineation is really important. Mm-hmm. And I think that we're really lucky. I think for teachers, maybe more than some other professions, we can kind of draw that boundary. Mm-hmm. Not always. And, certain districts and certain supervisors expect different amounts of availability. But I know in our particular case that, once we're done with the school day and we're, as long as we take care of the things we need to take care of, we're kind of able to keep school at school.
Yeah. Right.
At least at this point in our lives.
I think so too. I think we pretty much can. That took a while for me. Especially my first job, less support systems, less systems in place. It was, and I have to say I was a lot more social in the community, tight knit with the band parents. So we'd go out on a Friday, tight knit with my administrators. So we would hang out. Like, it was just, it was a little different, I do appreciate now that like, I mean, we can hang anytime, Erik, but like then when I go home, I'm not surrounded by the same people from work. Like that's it's different. And
I'm so glad you brought that up. And, I didn't even put this on our notes, but, you just got me to thinking, like, it's important to have groups and people outside of your everyday work life that you can see and talk with and be in community with. You can find groups of people in lots of different places, at the gym, at church or some religious institution, or find people that you used to go to school with that maybe in the area, or whatever, that you find those shared interests.
Like one of my friends who's a band director in Bergen County, he found a huge group of, like-minded people in a running group, and they've traveled the country and done trail running and crazy things. Like, and that's awesome,
Yeah, absolutely. And some of my groups are the people that I get together with outside of work are people that are in the profession. But honestly, we get together and we don't always talk about the profession. It's just, we met each other through music or through musicals or things like that. But that's not what keeps us, getting together.
Sure. Totally. Yeah.
And I think one of the other things, and you wrote on here, Jen, and I think this is super important, and I'm terrible at this, but I'm trying to get better.
Okay.
And that is saying no.
Oh, it's hard.
When people ask you, can you do this thing? Hey, I need you to do this musical thing, or I need you to do this other non-musical thing. It's really important to really take a moment, step back, look at your schedule, look at what you got going on, and really make sure that if you say yes, it's because you want to.
Right.
And that you have the time to and the energy to.
That's right. Like, and, I put on here, like, does it align with your goals right now? Right.
Yeah.
Like does it work for you right this minute, and long term? But if you're worried about the burnout thing, can you handle it right now? Are you excited about it or just afraid to say no?
Yes.
That gets me a lot,
Yes.
Yeah, that gets me a lot.
And I love that you write, what will I have to give up to do this well?
Yeah.
If you do take on something new, do you have the ability to drop something else that's really important to you?
Yeah, right. And because you have to, right? You can't just cram something in the corners and still do it well, right? Yeah. And that's you gotta keep an eye on that. So
yeah, don't forget to sleep. Sleep is important.
Yeah.
No, it is, Jen.
It is. Okay.
She's looking over there like, no, it's not.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. It is.
No,
Sleep is
so
important.
Yeah.
I know. Sleep is important. Yeah. I started to say before, I had a little boomerang event with the flu. I told you I'm hosting, my aunties. Like, so glad we were able to host them, when my sister-in-law was feeling sick. But after hosting Christmas Day and hosting them, and I popped a fever overnight and I got sick again, flu symptoms, the whole thing. And a couple nights of bad sleep and some stress after I was already run down. And there I was again, feeling fluish and a house full of people. Like it was kind of rough. So yeah. Okay. Sleep. Fine.
Yeah. No, but I think a lot of people have that, especially earlier in their careers, like, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead, but it really is important. It really is important. Make sure that you're not, burning the candle at all ends all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote on here, and this is something that I learned at my last job, and I forget who wrote this, but they were talking about how everybody needs to find marigolds for themselves. Now, I don't know if you know this, Jen. The little I know about gardening is that if you have a garden that you want to protect, you usually can plant marigolds around the perimeter, and that will stop some some of the predators from eating the food or eating the eating the plants. Oh, yeah. And they wrote about how when you're in your job or at your school, you need to seek out these people who are going to be positive for you and sort of insulate you from the negativity that sometimes can exist in schools. There are a lot of teachers who are very positive individuals, but we all know that there are some out there who love to complain or talk about how bad things are, and that's fine. But finding those marigolds is really important. Colleagues who can build you up and keep you positive.
Yeah. No, if you have that colleague that's always just like venting at you and not like, kind of, it's okay to vent, but like, what I'm talking about, when there's somebody that's just like rah, 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 all the time, always complaining, it breaks you down, and like I'm always seeking out the colleagues that are like aren't afraid to say like, yeah, that event burned me out. Like how are we going to do it better next time? How are we going to do it with less of an impact on, or how on like stressing out our students, stressing us out? How can, those are the colleagues that I'm always seeking out. Like, how can we make this better, and, this is a big reason why we do what we do here on Take It Cute, is because a better community prevents burnout and like normalizes making healthy choices for ourselves, right? So when you're surrounding people who make those healthy choices about anything, it could be about performances or about their personal lives, you're more likely to do that. So
Sure. And I don't know about you. I feel very fortunate at my job to have a really strong group of marigolds that I get to eat lunch with every day. And, that are always, that I know are going to be positive forces.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. And, I at least now I know what it looks like, even if I'm not finding those people everywhere, I've found quite a few that are going to, that help you, protect that sanity. So
yes. One other thing that I think maybe you put on here, Jen, was make it systematizable.
Is that a word? Oh yeah.
It is on our notes.
Yeah. Yep. I know. And I just, we all have our systems, right, that work for our program. And we say that all the time. It's like, make this work for you. Right. But those of you in your first years out there, make conscious decisions about how you set up your systems, so that year to year, week to week, month to month, you have something in place that you can fall back on, that okay, this worked for us last year, this happened when we did this. Make notes for yourself and keep those things really close to you, because you don't know when you're going to need to go back to that. And if you're just walking in and changing things every year, that keeps it fresh. And there are going to be years you're going to just want to throw the whole thing out the window and start over. But to not be that person that's the first one there and the last one to leave forever, you have to create some systems for yourself. So it makes less, it takes less brain power and takes less time to try to remember how I did all these things last year. Right. Write it down, take your notes. That way, after a year or two, you kind of get into that flow, and you don't have to think so much about it. Yeah. Yeah. One thing I do for myself now in the summer is I'll go through my Google Drive. I'll go through those things I set up, and I'll just make sure they're still organized. Because there were a couple of years I just like walked out the door at the end of June. Bye. See ya. Yeah. And I walked in September and things were exactly where I left them. And that didn't set me up for September very well, So,
yes.
Make that time to set up these systems and then keep them in an organized way. We just did an awesome episode last month or 2 months ago about Airtable. It was this season. And like that could be a great one for helping keep your instrument inventory cataloged, your student rosters, like the things that you just need every day. Go check that episode out, because that could really help you with this. Just starting to wrap things up here. How we kind of model this for our students is also a thing, because I can think of, some of the music educators I've had in the past that do this thing really, really well, this family and work-life balance, and then some that really, really don't. And both of them, those types of people have impressed a lot on me. But, I think it is important that we talk openly about the sustainability of what we do with our students, because they do learn how to be musicians by watching us.
And not just musicians, people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And like, we want them to see like that music can coexist with a like full life, right? That is, it's part of our full life. And, maybe that can outlast anything we teach them musically, right? Like, that this isn't something that is just going to come and go for you. It can be a very, very rich part of your life. And,
100%.
I think so. So we already juggle like teaching and performing and creative work. And for most of us, that means like our work-life balance is never going to be like 9 to 5, right? It's not just as a musician, as an educator, as a family person, like it doesn't look like that, and that's okay. And hopefully the goal isn't like just to have less music in your life and always be less and less and less. It's just making music with your students and your family that just still fills you with joy, still it's fulfilling. So
yes, 100%. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks to our listeners for letting us talk about work-life balance. And it's always a goal.
Yeah.
We're never there. It's always a goal. But thank you for tuning in and listening to Take a Cue. We hope today's episode gave you a few ideas, maybe some laughs, to bring back to your band room.
And if you liked what you heard, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And while you're there, leave us, again, a 5-star rating and review. It helps other music educators find the show in our growing community.
Know a colleague who'd love this podcast? Share it with them. The more the merrier, especially when it comes to talking shop about band.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Take a Cue Podcast. We post extra content, behind the scenes fun, and maybe the occasional rehearsal blooper.
Got an idea for an episode or a topic you'd love for us to tackle? Reach out. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, friends. Until next time, let's get out there and make great music.
And remember, every great performance starts with how you take a cue.
Yo.